So right now, lead builds are suffering quite a lot because they got nerfed. It is what it is. What are we going to do about it? Well, we're going to make another way to make them viable. But more than that, we're going to make a tank out of a bleed build. Yes, you heard me right. If you like the content, if you like to have these conversations with me, James, I would very much like for you to like the video and subscription to the channel. Like always, let's get right into the matter. I'm going to be speaking about the build in this little brief intro for the build, and then you can jump to whatever part of the video that interests you the most. There's going to be timestamps in the video description for you to be able to jump to whatever part of the video interests you the most. So on the patch 107, the dual wielding weapons for bleed builds were actually nerfed. That is actually quite bad. It is no longer that viable. I do not know how do I feel about it, but at the end of the day, I do believe that is something that was necessary. I do have to say that it did needed to be done, strangely enough. Anyways, that does not entirely mean, but by all accounts, that bleed is no longer viable anymore. It is viable, and I am going to show you why is it still so viable. But also, I remember back in the day I made a build with shields. Now, shield barricade, that's where we're going to be using barricade shield. That thing is so goddamn broken now. On the PvP patch and balancings that they made, there was this meta in PvP where people were just like sitting behind the barricade shield, so they had to nerf it. But it's back again, and oh boys, it's so goddamn satisfying to use. So in this build, we're going to be making a tank out of our build, but also it's going to be based as well on being able to proc bleeding on the enemies, so it should actually be quite amazing. That being said, like always, let's start with the stats. So we're capping this build as always on 150. As I always say, it's a good round number that I like my builds to be in, because it's a nice round number that you can easily get to during a single playthrough for the game. So you don't actually have to farm that much. If you explore, a single playthrough for the game should be more than enough for you to be able to reach 150 if you are exploring and killing all of your bosses. So there is that. You can also farm, but it's not actually too hard to get there. Bigger, it's going to be on 50. This is a very min-maxing build, and we're going to be getting into that a little bit later on. But at the end of the day, like I always say, I like my bigger to be right here to make mistakes. I'm a human. I like to make mistakes. I like to be dumb. I like to play bold. I like to get cheesy. I also like to get greedy on that final hit. Blame me. But it is what it is. Now mind, we are going to be using our shield quite a lot. We're going to be using our FP for our blood boon quite a lot for our main weapon. We're going to be discussing about the main weapon later on, but we are going to be using the blood boon ritual with this build. So yeah, we're actually going to be using quite a lot of FP, so 4 flasks should do the trick as well as that mine. Endurance, that is more than enough for you to be able to withstand anything that you are going to be withstanding with this build. That's more than enough. That stamina is just the sweet spot for me. I love to be in that place. And yeah, what can I say? I just love my stamina to see it right there. That's also the nice spot that I like to have my stamina to be able to wear the medium armors. I always use medium armors with my builds. I know that this is a tank. We're gonna go later into that, but this is still a tank. Okay, just wait for it. Trust me, it's going to be a tank. Strength and dexterity, that's just to be able to wear the weapon that we are going to be using with this build. Arcane 80. Now I know that Arcane stops the bleeding build up at around 45 and 50 for most of the weapons, but we are using Arcane 80 for AR to scale our weapon damage. At 80 Arcane, this spear, 100 spear, is going to be sitting at 724 damage, which is not actually that bad for a 100 spear that is going to be attacking from behind the shield. So yeah, what do you know, that's actually quite amazing. As for the weapon, Mogwin Sacred Spear, that is going to be amazing. Like I said, Arcane 80, that's going to be 524 damage. Banished Knight Shield. We could probably be using a heavier shield, one of the heaviest shields in the game. But yeah, we don't actually have that much weight load with this build to play around with that one. If you're able to find a shield that weighs 12 pounds, I guess, then you should be able to, and good to go. The strongest great shield in the game is the golden great shield, that's 17 weight, so that's out of question. You can totally find a better shield, but the Banished Knight Shield, maxed out at 25, it's going to give you a guard boost of 68, and trust me, that's more than enough, that's more than you need. And with the amount of stamina and equip load that we have, that's going to be perfect. As for the armor, use whatever you want to use. As for the talisman, Great Jaw Arsenal. We do want to be wearing heavy somewhat of a middle armor. Mogwin Sacred Spear, it's actually quite weighty, as well as the Banished Knight Shield. You are going to be summing up a total of 16 pounds, all in all, in just that. So for you to be able to wear some decent armor, I should like to believe, then that should be more than enough. Lord of Lots Exaltation. Blood loss in the vicinity increases attack power. Give me all of that. So basically, we are going to be causing bleeding into the enemies. We're going to be discussing that on the gameplay section of the video. Just bear with me right now, and this, trust me, it's going to be amazing. I am going to be explaining to you how this thing works. And then Spear Talisman. Now for the Spear Talisman, we are going to be using my dummy, my training dummy, because most of the people believe that this thing works in a way that it doesn't actually work. So right now we're going to be taking a time to explain to you guys how this thing works, how this thing actually properly works, and why do we have it, why do we want it for this build. Remember that this build, it's going to be the easy mode of the game because we're always going to be attacking from behind our shield. Now, most of the people believe that this thing, what it does is that it increases the counter attack of the triggered heavy counter attack. And that is not the case. This is Fred. I present to you Fred. This is my friend. He's my training dummy. And right now we're going to do some testing. I have my thing equipped, and as you can see, 633. That's 633 damage with the talisman equipped. Then we take it away. Let's try again. 633. It's still the same. So no, that's not for the counter attacks for the heavy weapon and the counter attack when you shield and use the heavy attack. No, that's not how it works, my boy. So basically, what this does is that when you counter attack an enemy, while you are guarding from your shield, it's going to increase its damage. So as soon as you are hit and you attack from that counter attack, like you are basically, what you want to do is that you are going to be trading hits with the enemy. That is how this talisman works. And since we are going to be attacking at all times from behind our shield, and what do you know, our damage is going to be exponentially be increased by all of that. That's percentage, and we're going to be using a whole lot of things to increase our damage. So yeah, by percentage it's going to be increasing. As you can see right here, I am attacking from my shield, from behind my shield. Hold on, let me trade hits with him. Come on, sir, do something for me. Come on, Fred, I'm waiting. Oh god, he's stuck now. Amazing. Thanks, dude. As you can see, 538. I'm going to take away the talisman, and I'm going to do the same thing and attack from behind the shield. That's not what I want to do. That's not the time enough window. Come on, dude. Do something to me. There we go. No, that's not enough. Not enough yet. Come on. Allow me to work, dude. You're making me look bad in front of the people's watching. Fred, could you please stop being such a little sassy? Well, there... come on, dude. Please, work with me. Remember, 500 with the shield. Alright, there we go. We can go better like this. Come on, dude. Come on. There we go. 477 when you trade without the talisman. So basically, we increased our damage by 50 points. I know that I wasn't being that much efficient right there. I suck at the game, I know. But at the end of the day, what I want you to understand is that the trading counterattacks that you use with this weapon is what's going to be increasing your damage. So that is why you want to use that spear talisman. The final talisman that we're going to be using is going to be the Great Shield talisman, which boosts our guarding ability. So basically we are using Barricade Shield as well as that thing to be able to attack at all times. Every single times we are going to be attacking from behind our shields. No one is going to hit us, no one is going to cause damage to us, no one is going to be able to defeat us. And yeah, we also have the Blood Boon, which is, you know, Blood Boon on itself, it's actually quite amazing, but it leaves you open. That is the reason why that thing turns me down. That when you use the Blood Boon, it just leaves you way too open to enemy attacks. This thing is devastating, trust me. If you are in co-op or you have your Mimic tier, it's going to devastate everything in front of you. But if the enemy is in front of you trying to hit you, and dude, it's not going to go in your favor. So basically what you want to do is that at the start of every fight, well, no, we're not actually into the gameplay explaining yet. Mix of Wondrous Physics, Green Burst, Crystal Tia, because it increases your stamina recovery, spin, and mixed physique, and we do actually want that because remember, we're going to be covering from behind our shield at all times, so we want to have that stamina. Our weapon has fire damage, Flame Shrouding Crack Tier. It has fire damage that is going to boost the fire damage by a percentage. So that being the case, now that we know everything that we are going to be using with this build, remember that we have the Lord of Blood Exaltation. When we use this thing, it's going to imbue our weapon, and since we're going to be imbuing our weapon, that is going to cause the enemy to bleed, and then we're going to be finishing up the fight with this thing from behind our shield using our Barricade Shield. Every time that we lose our boon, we're going to be recasting again our Blood Boon. So just as a final showcase, I know there's always gameplay on the background of the video, but I do want to showcase for you how it properly works, this build, as I tell you, as I narrate this thing for you, with Fred, my dummy right here, which doesn't really feels like attacking me because he's obviously afraid of me. So I am going to find a window of opportunity to make this thing cause that bleed damage into him. There you go, on one single hit, now he's bleeding. And since he's bleeding, I have the extra damage from Lord of Blood Exaltation, and take a look at that, that's filthy. Remember, this is New Game Plus 7. New Game Plus 7, and I am never ever going to be away from my shield. I am always going to be here. He's never going to be able to stagger me. I am just going to be a little sassy right here. I know this is cheesy, but dude, this is as easy as it gets. You're never going to be thrown out of your shield, and remember, dude, that guy was never able to throw me away from my guard boost. I was able to throw my Lord of Blood Exaltation, and this is New Game Plus 7, so it might not seem as a great feat to you, but the damage on the stamina on my poise that he does to my stamina shield should be more than enough to take me away from it, and I was just able to be from behind my shield at all times and attack. And dude, I no longer have need of my Flask of Crimson Tears. I might as well just place all of my points into my Flask of Cerulean Tears, because at the end of the day, I am always going to be safe from enemies' danger. Everything that I am going to be using is FP to be able to cast this thing, and also FP to be able to keep spamming my guard boost, which is going to last for ages. It's going to give me a whole lot of guard boost, and it's also going to be allowing me to attack like a maniac from behind my shield for so many times. So yes, this is as broken as it gets. As you were able to see, I was able to proc build with that guy. Also, if you use your Mimic Tia, maybe you can use this talisman, this specific talisman right here, which is the Shabaris' Wool. When you use Shabiris' Woe into your Mimic Tier, the enemy is going to be focusing on your Mimic Tier, so that way you can cast your Blood Boon, as well as being able to attack from to the enemy from behind your shield. And remember, since your weapon has bleed build up as well as the Blood Boon, you are still going to be making enemies bleed, your attack power is still going to be increasing. And it's just broken, all in all. It's just broken, satisfying, easy to play, so on and so forth. As always, if you like the video and liking the video, super appreciated. And subscription before you close the door. Remember that if no one has told you today that you are a gorgeous and beautiful person, you are indeed a gorgeous and beautiful person. Have a beautiful day, and I'll be seeing you goddamn gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful people in the next one. Goodbye. Have a beautiful day.